Welcome to another riveting episode on our channel. Have you ever found yourself captivated by the suspenseful narratives of crime dramas or the chilling headlines in the news? Then buckle up, because today we're peeling back the curtain on some of the most notorious and infamous organizations in American history. We're about to unravel the origins of the 10 most deadly gang founders in America. Remember, this video is solely for educational purposes and in no way condones or glorifies criminal activity. So, grab your detective hats and let's dive into the shadows. 10. MS13. Founded in Los Angeles, California, MS13, or Mara Salvatrucha, owes its birth to Ernesto Miranda, alias Smokey. A former Salvadorian soldier, Smokey fled his war-ridden country only to find another battleground on the streets of LA. With other war-hardened immigrants, he forged the first version of MS-13. His life took a grim turn when, after a period of reform back in El Salvador, he was gunned down outside his home. 9. Jewish Mob. Venturing back into the pages of history, we find ourselves in the early 1900s in the presence of Arnold Rothstein, often referred to as the Brain. This notorious figure is credited with the creation of the Jewish Mob, one of the most powerful criminal organizations of its time. Rothstein was more than just a mobster, he was a symbol of the excessive wealth that marked many gangsters in US history. Yet, beneath the shimmering veneer of his affluent lifestyle lurked a deadly underworld. The same hands that once held immense power met a tragic end over something as trivial as a poker game. Rothstein's stubborn refusal to pay a debt, firmly believing the game had been manipulated, marked his downfall. His untimely demise, a result of this high-stakes game, sparked a lingering mystery about his killer, a secret he carried with him to his grave. His legacy? A ruthless, efficient criminal organization that continues to influence the annals of American crime history. 8. Black Gangster Disciples. As we travel forward to the tumultuous era of the late 60s, we find ourselves in Chicago's bustling streets. Here, Larry Hoover and David Barksdale emerged as founders of the Black Gangster Disciples, a name now etched into the annals of America's gang history. Initially, their intent was noble. They wanted to eradicate senseless violence within their community, foster unity, and provide protection. Yet, as we've often seen, even the best intentions can succumb to grim realities. The infiltration of drugs into their neighborhoods turned their noble dream into a living nightmare. What began as a protective alliance morphed into a terrifying force of crime and violence, forever altering the face of the streets. Today, the once powerful and unified Black Gangster Disciples are a far cry from their origins. The organization is now besieged by internal feuds, a testament to the destructive potential of their dark path, forever tarnishing the legacy of Hoover and Barksdale. 7. Black Mafia Family. Demetrius Flannery, alias Big Meech, alongside his brother Terry, founded the Black Mafia family in Detroit in the late 80s. Their powerful connection to Mexican cartels led to a $250 million coke distribution empire. Their empire crumbled when their flashy lifestyle attracted the attention of federal authorities, resulting in both brothers serving 30-year prison sentences. 6. Trinitarios. The Trinitarios, a New York-based organization, was founded by Leonidas Sierra, known as Junito, alongside Julio Marin, or Gaballo. Initially created as a protective group within Rikers Island Jail, the Trinitarios quickly gained power on the streets of New York. The organization's downfall started when Junito was sentenced to 19 years for racketeering in 2014. 5. Latin Kings. Raymond Santos, better known as Papa King, plays a pivotal role in our countdown. He carved a place in America's infamous criminal landscape by founding the Latin Kings, one of the most significant and long-standing Latino street organizations, in 1954. This Chicago-born entity, under Papa King's leadership, evolved into a potent force that shaped the city's criminal fabric. Then, in 1988, a shroud of mystery unfurled itself around Papa King. He suddenly vanished, his whereabouts disappearing into the echoes of the Windy City's bustling streets. Despite extensive investigations and multiple theories, his fate has remained an unsolved enigma, adding a layer of mystique to his already notorious legacy. 4. Gambino Family. Initially founded by Salvatore Di Aquila in 1910, the organization later adopted the name Gambino Family under the notorious reign of Carlo Gambino. As the head of one of the 5 families that dominated organized crime in New York City, Gambino expanded the reach of his empire from illicit gambling to narcotics and racketeering, marking an infamous chapter in American mob history. 3. Crips. Our journey through America's shadowy underworld continues with the Crips, a name that has become a byword for street gang violence. Founded by the charismatic duo of Raymond Washington and Stanley Tukey Williams in the tumultuous year of 1969 in Los Angeles, the Crips began as a simple neighborhood watch. However, the gang rapidly evolved, spiraling into an entity far darker and more dangerous than its initial benign purpose. The streets of LA, haunted by fear and violence, became the canvas upon which Washington and Williams, with their sprawling gang, painted a gruesome tapestry of crime. Tragically, the founders themselves were consumed by the very storm of violence they had whipped up. Raymond Washington met a grim end in 1979, gunned down on the very streets he once ruled, while Stanley Tukey Williams faced the stern hand of justice, being executed in 2005. Their lives, marred by violence, serve as stark reminders of the perilous path they chose to walk. 2. Mexican Mafia. Bringing our countdown to a close, but certainly not diminishing the gravity of our discussion, we land upon the creation of the Mexican Mafia. 13 Hispanic street gang members, under the formidable leadership of Luis Huero Buff Flores, conceived this deadly entity within the walls of DUL Vocational Institution in California back in 1957. The initial spark for its inception was a self-preservation instinct, a protection organization against other hostile factions within the institution. However, this objective quickly morphed into something far more sinister as the Mexican Mafia clawed its way to become one of the most ruthless prison and street gangs, spreading its influence both inside and outside prison walls. Flores himself was a paradoxical figure, credited with fostering a brutal organization that became synonymous with fear and violence. Ironically, he fell victim to the very forces he helped unleash. In 1977, the wind of an internal power struggle blew him towards his tragic end. Flores was murdered, a poignant reminder of the deadly dance of power and survival within the underworld he had a hand in creating. His legacy endures, casting a long, ominous shadow across the annals of American gang history. 1. Hell's Angels. With the roar of a bike engine, our journey into the underbelly of America's deadliest gangs begins in 1948 with the Hell's Angels. Under the leadership of Otto Friedli, this notorious motorcycle club was born amidst the dry heat and open roads of San Bernardino, California. Originally established as an innocent gathering of bike enthusiasts, the Hells Angels would soon morph into a symbol of rebellion synonymous with crime and violence. Friedli, a central figure in the transformation of this motorcycle club into an organized crime syndicate, was ultimately expelled from the organization in the 1950s. Following his ousting, Friedli chose to retreat into the shadows of a less conspicuous life. Yet, despite his departure from the criminal world, the legacy of his creation lived on, forever cementing his name in America's darker historical narrative. Friedli passed away quietly in 1997, leaving behind a legacy that continues to cast a long shadow over American criminal history. And there you have it, the 10 deadliest gang founders in America. These are sobering reminders of the dark paths some have taken in our history. Again, this video is meant to inform, not glorify these actions. For more intriguing and eye-opening content, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.